not against marriage in any way. From a failed marriage, I will definitely jump into another another marital situation pretty soon,
Yeah.
actually.
So you like being married?
I do, and I did like being married in my previous marriage. I did enjoy being a husband and a father. Um, and it's something that I want to do again.
Mhm. Hi, tribe. Oh, the straw is right in the camera. So, yeah, where have I been? Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. I guess this is kind of like three now, isn't it? Yeah, but I took 2 weeks off. Wasn't planned. I didn't mean to dip and abandon our little community. Uh, but yeah, sometimes you just have to take care of yourself. That's the most I can say on that. Still in the process. I mean, we're always in the process of taking care of ourselves, I hope. But I just shot down into a ditch. A ditch sounds dramatic. A little dip. And when I'm in a dip, it's hard to really focus on a lot, So we're all just doing our best, right? So I'm back though, because we have things to talk about. You understand? I'm really excited about today's episode because it's so hard to get the male perspective on an open therapy episode. So I'm extremely excited to present this episode today. This conversation was interesting to me because it gives a perspective on marriage from a man's point of view, in a way that I haven't heard it before. So it speaks about his lessons that he's learned from his marriage, in it when the marriage ended, and now after it in another relationship, moving forward. His, how his perspective on love has evolved. And I think the male voice on that experience is not always the loudest. And so I'm just forever grateful for him taking the time out to just kind of give us a little peep. I mean, you can't get much out of 30 minutes, yeah? But we touched on a few things that I thought were just interesting to hear, and to see him speak about his own growth, and him speak about his own lessons, and him speaking about future and what he's looking forward to. All of these things are just amazing to me. So yeah, stick around. We touch a little bit on parenting as well, because we also, in the past, we've had some conversations about co-parenting, and we touch a little bit on that and the relationship with his children, and how the lessons that he's learned in these relationships have kind of spilled or filtered through to other types of relationships in his life. So it's a really cool episode, and I hope you stick around. Disclaimer: the audio in this conversation got a little glitchy at certain points, but please push through because the gems are there. Meet Ike. Hi, Ike.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for agreeing to have this conversation with me. Have it
I
recorded.
had to think about it a little bit.
You had to think about it, whether or not you would do the video.
I did have to think about it. Not long and hard, but I did think about it a bit.
Okay.
And after thinking about it, I said, maybe I personally think I have a unique perspective that I could share. And I said, why not?
Appreciate it. All right, so a little bit about your background. I feel like I know you, but we don't really know each other that well in real life.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
You went to Hampton.
Right.
I went to Monroe at the same time you were at Hampton. I went to Monroe with your brothers. They were ahead of me. So yeah, them used to rag me.
Just Yeah.
So, but I don't. But as you said, we're in general circles, but we don't know each other. So I guess I should use this as an opportunity to introduce myself to your audience and to you.
Sure.
So my name is Ike Francis. I was named after Ike Turner, which is usually a great icebreaker. I thank my father for that daily because he named me. And I was born in Southeast St. Elizabeth. I went to Monroe College. After that, I went to UTEC for a short time, and then I started working. And after working, so weird part of all of this is that I started working, and then along the way, got married, got separated, got a divorce, moved to Canada. So now I'm talking to you from Alberta, Canada. From
Correct.
deep down in the boonies. I'm not in the city, I'm not in Calgary, I'm not in Edmonton. I am in a very, very small town with lots of cows, lots of horses. Yeah.
Lovely. I hadn't even heard of Alberta, to be honest, until I
And
heard you say, yeah.
that's so funny because a lot of my friends are like, where exactly are you? And are you close to Toronto? I'm like, no, I'm like 5.5 hours flight from Toronto. I have to take about an hour drive to get to the airport to get to Toronto.
So, no, okay, that gives me context. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm it's the most Jamaican, but they're way over one part.
Yeah. Understood. So you touch on a little bit of your history, like romantically. So you said you got married shortly after leaving UTech and started working, right? So how
It
old?
actually not shortly, but a little while after. I got married in my mid-20s.
Okay.
Just about after the birth of my first child, which is my daughter. We had 2 children together, a son and a daughter. And yeah, we were married for a short time. There were lots of ups and downs, but it turned out it was a blessing having my children, and learning and growing from that relationship was also a blessing in disguise as well.
So lots of ups and downs, you said. So when you said you were married for a short period, you mean a time?
So we were married and together for about 6 or 7 years. And when we separated, we found a very interesting common ground in co-parenting. Like, I'll be honest and say that we co-parent really well. Apart, I'm not sure if she would agree with me. She may agree with me, but I think we co-parent better now than when we were actually together.
Oh, awesome. That's always great because I'm a very big advocate for co-parenting relationships as well. So it's awesome to hear.
Oh yeah,
But
that has always been something that I personally tried to put a lot of effort into, and she also did the same thing. It came with a lot of growth because it wasn't easy initially. So
right.
that aspect of it has grown better over time.
Okay. All right. So because I'm not married, I'm 39 years old, never been married. I am always looking to, I don't know, hear lessons from people who have been, who are married, who are looking to get married. So I would love to get your perspective. I've done a conversation before with a good friend of mine who I think in the video she had been married for 15 years at the time. So it's interesting now to get a male's perspective. Yours is a little different. She was still married, but I just want to get your perspective on any lessons that you learned about marriage in it.
So I think I could backtrack a little bit when it comes to marriage because I was raised by a single father.
Okay.
My parents were married for 11 years. They got separated when I was about 10. My mother moved out and left my brother with my father, which is really weird. That gave me a whole different perspective on relationships and life and my father very stern. My father is very strict. Um, that we there's me, my brother, and then I have a younger sister who gets away with absolutely everything. Me and I didn't get away with anything. My brother got away with a few things, and then my sister was like, "The book will just throw it out." He marrying. So my stepmother came into the picture when I was about 16, 17. My brother grew more with her than I did. I had a really good relationship with her. And they had my sister together after that. But my father was very big, after the whole separation, my father was very big on being an independent man who provides for his family. And being an independent that you don't, this may sound mad, but you don't necessarily need to depend on a woman. He taught me how to cook, clean, wash my clothes, iron, like all of those things. And in a very major way, that has helped with my relationship. It has also helped me to get into relationships because I can cook. Usually, like my up around that, my second or third date, I'm going to cook for you.
Lovely.
And that's all worked for me.
Yeah.
But also I remember, and I was having a conversation some time ago with a friend of mine, and I was saying to them that my father once said to me when I was probably in about third or fourth form, had a little girlfriend relationship and had a broken heart, and my father looked at me and said, "A woman should never make you dash or you dumpling," which means that you should. And I'll never forget, that has lived with me
I've
ever
never
since.
heard that.
No, he made up a lot of stuff when we were growing up. So what he basically meant was that you should be always ready to handle the hardships and heartaches and take it for what it is. It's this stage of whatever relationship you're in, and it will pass over. And basically, I mean, in his head, it was like, yo, a woman shouldn't put you in a position where you're not eating.
Yeah.
A woman should never make you dash or a dumpling.
Got it.
Or the lack of love should not. Let me say it better. A broken heart should not make you dash or a dumpling.
Got it. No. Yeah. Makes sense.
Because it eventually fades. It takes time, and it takes learning, and it takes adjusting. And it takes adjusting to new routines, which I had to do a lot of coming out of my marriage. Coming out of that, I personally found somewhere that was really close to where my kids live, so I could pick them up and drop them to school. I could be present in their life still. They could still wake up and Daddy will be there to drop them to school. Daddy will pick them up from school, that kind of vibe. They could come over for weekends. I could if anything, they could always call me and I'm there. I could drop by, help with homework, that kind of thing. So that took some adjustments. And it also helped a lot with my growth because I became a lot more patient after that breakup. And a lot more, I got to understand how important communication in a relationship is. And
sorry, I missed that. How important communication? Got it. Yeah.
And not just verbal communication, but communication in actions, emotional communication, and we both tried to fix our relationship and realize that it may be for the best for us both to move on and move past this. And it took some time. I had to do therapy. In essence, I still do some amount of therapy. And I'm a big advocate of therapy.
So am I. Yeah.
Yeah, I am a huge advocate of therapy. Since moving here, my current job, I work along with a lot of young people, and a lot of them talk to me about issues that they have in their personal life. I'm not sure why, because we're from completely different backgrounds, and maybe that's that I'm just not from here, so I have a very different perspective. But I advocate therapy for everybody. Even if you feel like you don't need therapy, but you, whether it's relationship therapy, whether it's personal growth,
Yeah.
I've done different types of therapy too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's excellent. Okay. So I guess you're saying your biggest lesson coming out of that was, I guess, how important communication is in a relationship, all different types. Okay.
Yeah, and the different types of communication. That was also a big lesson because I'm a fairly decent communicator. There are times when I just kind of hold back on my emotions, and this was before. I would actually say that I'm not like that anymore. Shout out to my current partner, my current girlfriend. And a little bit of backstory where that is concerned. She is a mental health professional, so she is like, kind of have my own built-in.
Okay.
I kind of have my own built-in therapist.
Yeah. So you can't you can't hold back emotion.
Oh no! If I'll give you a funny joke. If we have issues or if we have something that we have to talk through, the first thing she will say is, "Hey, you want to go for a drive?" Because I can't escape. Like there's absolutely no escape when you're sitting in a car.
That's good.
And with that, we've worked through a lot of issues, and that has helped me to understand how to effectively communicate my feelings and how to effectively understand other people's feelings as well and where they are.
Right. That's awesome.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
That has helped me over the past.
Yeah, I might use that. The long drive thing. Sounds good. All right. So previously I'd sent you a quote. I'm just going to read it so people who are listening can understand some context. It's an Esther Perel quote. And it says, "We're born with contradicting needs, a need for security and a need for freedom. So some come out of childhood wanting more connection, protection, and intimacy, and others come out of childhood wanting more space, more freedom, more individuality. So one more afraid of losing the other. So separateness is seen as rejection, abandonment, and exclusion, and the other more afraid of losing themselves. So they can see the need for connection as an invasion and a disrespect of individual needs." So this quote, well, I love Esther Perel and things that she speaks about in general, but this quote spoke a lot to me and my journey in relationships. And so I just kind of wanted to put it to you and see if you resonate with any of those sides and where you think you fall.
Kind of weird how our childhood, I want to say the buzzword, but our childhood trauma can affect our current relationships without us even thinking about it.
Absolutely.
As I said, I was raised by a single father, so my view is completely different from my first wife, who was raised in a nuclear family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also my current relationship, where my current girlfriend was raised in a nuclear family as well. And the perspective shift and the perspective differences can create issues, and they can also help you to resolve issues. In my case, with my current relationship, having an understanding of where she came from in terms of her parents' marriage has helped me to kind of unlock an understanding of, we're grown as people. We should be able to communicate with it and understand that there will be differences of opinion, there will be differences of thought processes, there will be differences of how we go about doing things. But the objective is, what do we want? What do we both want of the relationship. That goes back to what we're saying, that there are different expectations from a relationship or past trauma. Personally, I do think that growing up with a single father has affected my relationships. Affected helped in some, because as I said, like, I'm the eldest child. I was always supposed to be responsible for my siblings. And my father ensured that that was a thing. Like, he's like, yeah, you're the eldest, you're supposed to take care of everybody else. You're supposed to guide everybody else. And that made way into my relationships as well. I mean, I'll point something out to you that I've thought about recently, was that my wife, and I'm making a comparison between my wife and my current girlfriend. My ex-wife was the last child. My current girlfriend was the first child, first of 5, and I'm the first. And it was how much that kind of relationship with siblings can actually affect your personal relationships.
Right. And how you do things and how you view things, your perspective.
And how you do things and you go about things. Because just like myself, she was raised with the idea that you are the eldest, you are the one who is going to set certain trends and do certain things certain ways, and that is what is expected of you. You are the guide for everybody else. And that, in a way, that has helped us both, because we were both able to connect on that. In my previous relationship, that was a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
She was the baby of her family, and
I'm the last child as well. So,
to you, she had 2 older brothers too. So,
oh, cool.
And even with that, I have to this day, I have good relationships with her siblings. I also have good relationships with my current girlfriend's siblings as well. And it's also simply because of that fact. I was the eldest. I was just like her. So we were supposed to offer guidance and offer, some amount of safety for our siblings. And that has played in a major way in our relationships, because my siblings are a major part of my life. And so are hers, and in the past, so was my previous, my ex-wife. And with saying all of that, what I'm trying to say is that we have these expectations from relationships that are influenced from childhood trauma or childhood experiences, that because of how individualized our experiences are, sometimes while we think we both have the same expectations in a relationship, they can be so vastly different.
Yeah.
And even back about my previous relationship, she was the four love languages was a big thing for her. And I didn't know where on that spectrum of love languages I fell at the time, to be honest. I still try not to get caught up in it, so I still can't figure out where I fall on it, to be honest.
You didn't do the test? There's a test, right?
There's a test. I did the test, but I feel like this doesn't feel. The result of the test that I did was, this doesn't feel right, because we even did the test during our premarital counseling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and just to see where we were and our understanding of the different ways that we can show love or in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I just throw it through the window, right?
Yeah.
I do. And again, it comes back to, in my current relationship, as I said before, I was blessed with finding somebody who has a very good understanding of mental state and mental health, and good mental health. She did work at Bellevue, so like, there are times when she's like, should have probably been a patient there.
Oh, okay.
Joking.
Okay. Yeah.
That's joking.
Yeah.
But it helps to have somebody who has a good understanding of the human psyche, and what motivates certain people. Um, and this may go a little bit off tangent, but I dropped out of school. I dropped out of college. She is huge on education, to the point where she, over the course of our relationship over the past few years, she's been trying to get me to go back to school, go back to school and embrace education. And it wasn't until moving here that I'm like, okay, I don't have much of a choice now, because I kind of backed myself into a corner, because moving here.
Are you in school?
Well, I'm doing so. A bit of a shift from what I did before. My previous career was in food and beverage, food service management. Spent most of my years in that. Did photography as well. That was post pandemic. I experiment. I always had a camera, so that just kind of came natural to me. And since moving here, as I said, I live in a very small town, so there's not much to do. But my town is big on oil and gas, and I did mechanical engineering at in UTech. I didn't finish, so I do have that aspect of mine where I'm calculated. You know, so since moving here and since joining the program where I am in Alberta, there is an apprenticeship program. I'm a first year mechanical insulator. And as I said, this may go completely off tangent.
A little bit. It's fine.
But yeah, I'm a first year mechanical insulator. And with that program, you have to do 8 weeks of school every year.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Courses plus additional, what we call tickets or certificates throughout the course of the year.
To keep you current.
I have certificates coming up that I have to do in the next 2 weeks, because I'm going to be moving to another camp altogether. So I have to do, and I don't like studying, but she's big on education. But she's pointed out to me, and this is where that communication aspect of our relationship is, and that understanding of the human psyche. She's pointed out to me that I'm an experiential learner, and shown me that has helped to show me ways of how to absorb information.
Right.
Like, I have a test to do in a couple of weeks, and it is basic math, and I've completely forgotten all of these formulas and everything. And
it's been some time. Yep.
It's been a
yeah.
And like, maybe you should find some video tutorials instead of going through the study guide. Find some video tutorials and try to work your way around that, because according to her, if I sit and watch a few videos and go out and do whatever it is that the tutorial said, I have the ability to master it in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
I wish I knew all of this from high school.
Right.
I would have done so much better in high school from back. But and to that point, there's a conversation that we always have. That foundation that was set in high school also gave me the ability of that understanding as well. So, but to the point of relationships, it's just how her personal experiences she's brought her personal experiences into the relationship, and her professional experience as well, which I've done some of that as well. And that has helped me to grow as a person, to be honest.
Yeah.
My ex-wife admit that I'm much more communicative now than I was before. And it's simply because, as I said, like, if we have an issue, she's going to lock me in the car and say, okay, let's go for a drive.
Yeah.
I need to go somewhere to pick up something. I need to go somewhere to pick up something an hour away. And I'm like right now? Like, why can't we do this tomorrow? And she's like, no, we have to go now. And 15 minutes into the drive, when you're on the highway, she's like, so what I want to talk to you about is this. And I've gotten to the point now where I just mentally prepare for it.
Yeah. And it's working if your communication has gotten better. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's understanding how to properly communicate has also helped me to be a better father as well, I think.
Yeah. It's going to spill over into all your relationships, professionally, romantically, parent-wise. Yeah.
it has really helped me to look at how my children see the world and see me as their father, and no, see me as their father who is miles away, because my
Mm-hmm.
children um help me to understand their perspective on the father son father relationship they expect of me,
Okay.
and that has helped in a very big way. I communicate with my children. My daughter is a little bit reserved. My son is he. I tell him he should be a lawyer because he likes to chat.
Okay.
And even with that, it has helped me. As I said, I was raised by a father, and you were raised to say, okay, you're supposed to be tough. My son is very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a complete shift from the way I was raised. Like I can't. It's very hard for me to apply the principles of how I was raised to even raising my children, my son especially. Because he likes to communicate. He likes to tell you what he's feeling. He likes to tell you what he's thinking. My daughter is not like that. My daughter is probably more like, okay, I'm gonna be over here, and yeah, this will
Yeah.
whatever.
And people tend to think that's switched normally, but it's
No,
not always like that. Yeah.
I have it the complete reverse.
Yeah.
But in understanding communication and understanding, as I said before, emotional communication, that has helped me in a major way with my relationship generally, my relationship with my father, my relationship with my brother and sister, my relationship with friends, and more so my relationship with my children. Because being so far away from them, I have to talk to them on the phone, and I have to try to get an understanding of what it is that they're going through, what it is that I can help them with,
Yeah.
what it is that they can also bring to me to help them with.
Yeah.
My son likes to cook, and as I said, my background is food service management, and he's also into gaming. I'm not a gamer, but I try to level with him on more of the cooking side.
Mm-hmm.
So even with that, that's where I try to tend to communicate with him a little bit more, to say, okay, what are you, like, we talk about recipes, we talk about different cooking. He's 10. So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
we try cooking videos on, I'll find like cooking videos of some simple recipes, and I'll be like, hey, here's something for you to try, and he'll try that, that kind of thing. With my daughter, it's a little bit different. My daughter is very, very artistic, so she draws, she's into music, and I do have a creative side where the photography and the videography comes in, and I have to try to connect with her there. So
Yeah.
and that is a little bit different too, because I am a bit of a creative when I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to also be able to communicate with her in that way and
Yeah.
understand it as a creative person, and her frustrations as a creative person, because there's a lot of frustrations when you're creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, just also helping them to understand how relationships function, helping them to understand that daddy is still daddy, but daddy and mommy aren't together anymore. Daddy and mommy love you both. Daddy and mommy wants the best for both of you, and daddy and mommy have different ways of approaching how we want the best from both of you, but the objective is still the same.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. So communication, like,
It's huge. That's what I'm taking from that. Yeah.
it's so weird not like looking. It's so weird not being initially not being able to communicate my feelings that well, and then having traumatic experience as my separation, divorce, helped me to say, okay, this is the side of me that I need to tap into to move forward as a father, to move forward as a divorcee, to move forward in my relationship,
Yeah. Okay. All right. We didn't quite.
So that's also a problem with me, by the way. Ask me a question, I'm gonna go way over across. So with it.
Yeah,
Um,
because we got a lot. We didn't get this, but we got
we
a
can
lot.
we can pick some stuff from this, I hope.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Okay. This is as I'm editing. This is editing Kai, and I'm seeing that. Okay, so the quote was to give us context, and kind of I really wanted him to touch on which category he fell in. But this conversation, as you can hear, took a tangent, but we still got some gold in it. So I was like, I'm not going to take this responsible because there's still so much gold in what he did touch on. But the original quote and the original question is still so fascinating and meaningful in my journey in relationships that please stick around for my dissection of that in next week's episode. Guys, I'm coming back. I'm back. Right? So I'm actually, yeah, as I'm editing this, I'm like, I was going to like put my response right here, but I'm just like, you know what? Let's put that in next week's episode because this right here is gold anyway. So let's continue. And then I just wanted to, well, you kind of touched on it. How has your perception of love evolved pre and post marriage? Well, not really. I'd love to hear that. And your perspective on relationship types. Well, you said you're in a relationship right now. I'm assuming it's a monogamous relationship, but you can let me know what kind of relationship type appeals to you most.
it is
Why are you
very much.
laughing so much, right?
I've so my relationship is completely monogamous. And we aren't married yet. I'm hoping that
Yes.
we can.
Oh,
Yet. So to your question, I'm not against marriage in any way. From a failed marriage, I will definitely jump into another marital situation pretty soon,
yeah.
actually.
So you like being married?
I do, and I did like being married in my previous marriage. I did enjoy being a husband and a father. And it's something that I want to do again.
Mhm.
That being a provider, being that support system, and being that person that somebody can go to, and when they're not doing their best, they can just cuddle up and say, just don't say anything, don't move, be right here for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's me. That's me.
Okay.
And I like that feeling. It also makes me feel wanted.
Okay.
You know, so I'm all for marriage. I'm all in support of being married again. Like
Yeah.
I'm ready to.
Well, I'm happy
I'm ready
to hear that because sometimes people are like that, and then if it fails or it doesn't go as you think it should, you know, it kind of changes how they feel about it. But I'm glad that you still see the value and you still want that. Yeah.
The value has always been there. It's just that we weren't compatible as we thought we were as a married couple. You know, we both wanted completely different things, and I think a lot of the young people like to say nowadays is, you know, look for those red flags. There were some red flags there that we both just ignored because we thought we could have fixed each other or fixed those issues and worked through them. And it wasn't as effective as it should be. It should have been.
Yeah.
But that has helped me to be able to identify my personal red flags. I had a lot of those.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah. I'm currently in that process as well.
And how are you finding that?
I mean, it's a journey, but I like that though. I like the self-awareness of it. I hope, I mean, I have blind spots, so that's a part of why I want to have some of these conversations on this channel, to help me with my blind spots. That's a part of my work with my personal therapist, so I can, you know, find my own red flags. It's happening, like it's slowly happening.
But here's a question. When you identify those particular red flags, what is the course of action?
Well, I'm looking forward to my therapist helping me with that.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, getting some help.
You need some help for that.
just realizing it can't stop there. You have to kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It can't stop at just identifying what the red flags are.
correct. I'm aware.
But
Okay.
but even that, even with those red flags, a lot of them come back to previous relationships and just childhood experiences.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, I watched my parents go through a divorce, and you did common entrance, didn't you?
Yeah.
If I hadn't had done my common entrance before my parents got separated, I would not have had passed. I would not have gone to Monroe. Put it that way.
Yeah. So it was,
You know,
when was it in relation to common insurance? Right after?
it was after, and
Okay.
and looking back, even without my parents telling me, I can tell that they
Push through
held out. They pushed through for
until,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's something that I appreciate, because we went to probably the two best high schools in Jamaica. And
Yes.
it gave us a lot of opportunities in our professional life too. So I'm quite grateful that they held out. I'm sure it was stressful. I can remember some of the stress myself. It was a bit of a traumatic experience for me as a child. And I'm glad that they were able to hold out.
Yeah. Me too. Okay. All right. Ike, thank you again for being here, and I really appreciate you agreeing to do this with me. I really want more of the male perspective on some of these. I don't know, you guys don't want to talk about love and connection and emotions and vulnerability. It's hard. You know, the rejections I get, I reach out to people, come on, and they're like, no. Especially when I send them the structure, they're like, no.
Yeah. If you had asked me to do this a few years ago, I would have said no.
No? Well, I'm
but
happy that I get new 2025 Ike.
yeah, but I do think there is value in, as a man who is trying to work their way through life and the different things that life throws at you, to have a good understanding of relationships and have a good understanding of how previous relationships have affected yourself personally, and how to navigate your way through them in current relationships.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a big supporter of therapy.
Right.
Therapist, she's probably gonna see this if we post clips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she'll be proud because you've been advocating for it throughout this conversation. So I love that.
She's probably gonna be very happy to hear some of the things that I spoke about so
Yeah?
openly.
Oh, it's a part of the work. That's good.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. All right.
But thank you for me. Thank you. This was quite a pleasure. I don't honestly get to speak about relationships this openly, so this was intriguing as well for me.
Lovely. Well, I'm glad. And thanks. So we'll see each other on social media because that's where we communicate, I guess. And
I said I'll be in Jamaica soon enough, so we'll definitely have coffee.
Oh, lovely. All right. Later.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. All right, guys. Thank you. If you're this far in the video, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for sitting in on such a great conversation. I hope I have some male watchers who are encouraged to speak about love and connections in their life in this kind of way, with a friend, with a therapist, with me. Link me. Yeah. So thank you so much for getting this far in the video. I hope you love me because I love you. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.